Hi everyone, my name is Nikki and I'm super excited to be part of Opinionnation. I think this show has a ton of potential and I can't wait to see what you guys are going to say when it airs. Bear with me, I'm a little bit nervous filming this, so if I fidget a lot, I apologize. I'm an author. I write chick lit and cozy mysteries, which still requires a little bit of research on my part, so I'm hoping to incorporate that in the show without boring you guys to death. So cannabis. I don't care if you do it or you don't do it. Personally, I think it should have been legal a long time ago. The benefits outweigh the cons tenfold. I actually recently stumbled upon some research by a Dr. Ethan Russo, who I highly recommend looking up on YouTube if it interests you, this kind of stuff. He's a leading researcher in medical cannabis, and he's worked with research companies around the globe, studying the drug on people with anxiety, migraines, chronic depression, cancer, various other diseases. And he's actually found some pretty amazing stuff. He calls the plant humanity's gift. And I can't get into all that research because it would take too long. But personally, I have friends who use the plant to deal with their neurological issues, their anxiety, and they swear by it next to the prescription drugs that they used to use. There are limited side effects. They feel better. There's no pain. I'm not a conspiracy nut, but do I believe that it's taken this long for this plant to become legal because it could put Big Pharma in trouble? Probably, yeah. And to all the people that are so against its legalization, I have to say, come on. There are far more important things to be worried about than a plant. Just my opinion. Anyway, thanks for watching the show.
Hello, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Letitia.
Today we are talking about the 420 on cannabis. And we want to share our opinions with you guys on cannabis, specifically the differences between recreational and medicinal use within Ontario, within Canada, and now growing on a global level. So we hope to hear from you guys and your opinions, and you'll be able to hear our opinions as well, right?
Absolutely.
So that being said, we're going to start off to share our opinions on cannabis in Ontario specifically because things are changing coming up. Is it July 1st?
I believe so.
So July 1st, the rules might be changing a little bit. Things are going to be becoming a little more legalized for us here in Ontario, Canada, where we can partake in this herb on a recreational level. And a medicinal level. So it was on just a medicinal level now where you were able to be prescribed from a physician. Now you'll be able to purchase without
any type of
prescription, no licensing, no prescription. So we just kind of wanted to touch upon that. The basis of the show, as we did explain, is just like a nice little safe haven online where you can go and view some people's opinions as well as share your own on a topic. And this week's topic is the 420 on cannabis. So we will be sharing our opinion on this.
Wonderful.
What's your thoughts?
Okay, well, my thoughts specifically. So my opinion on the legalization specifically of the cannabis use in Ontario. It's a great idea. I am all for the fact that we are going to be able to go into a dispensary and pick this product up to enjoy at home. They have taken a lot of steps to regulate it, and I completely agree. No one under 19 should be able to get a hold of it. It should be tested so we are fully aware of what we are purchasing. Especially when it comes to people with medical issues, and that is their purpose for taking it. They need to know specifically what is in it. With the legalization that is going on in Ontario, I personally don't think that it should be completely controlled by the government the way that they plan to, in the way that it will be like the LCBO, where it is just Ontario cannabis supply stores, and they will pretty much have a monopoly over it. There are a lot of different businesses that have been running over the past couple of years that have been offering a very high level of service, who offer cannabis that they have tested, where they know specifically what is in it. And I believe that these stores and dispensaries should be able to legally continue without being shut down because the government decides that they need to be in charge of the sales of it. They're obviously going to make their taxes off of it, and should that not be good enough, regulations will keep everyone in line. And I believe that there should be more freedom for other businesses to take part in this major step we're taking in Canada.
I completely agree with you, actually. And the best part about the show is sometimes we won't always agree. However, we won't debate because we are here strictly to share our opinion. In this circumstance, I do agree with Letitia, which I think is awesome for our first episode. It's a good way to start off. But in addition to that, I'm also really interested in sharing my opinion on the health aspect of it and why it should be legalized. There are a lot of studies that show amazing health benefits for the different chemical compounds in the cannabis plant. So I think there's just a huge misconception that a lot of the time people look at cannabis as a drug, as an addictive vice that takes over people's lives, and it really doesn't. I mean, there's a ton of people who consume cannabis in so many different ways that function on fantastic levels every single day. So in my opinion, I'm really happy to see it legalized. I'm not really sure if they're doing it the right way for the right reasons and whatnot. I mean, that's something that we'll dive into future episodes. But in the meantime, I'm happy to see it become legalized. I would like to see it become further legalized in other places outside of Canada. It would be really great to travel with it for those who actually require it. And I'll also provide a link for a website I was looking at. I think it was called healthline.com, and it talks about the benefits of CBD oil. So I particularly think cannabis is fantastic. It should be legalized. I think the government should go about it the right way rather than making it a monopoly, because it's something that we actually truly do need for numerous reasons. And it's not just adults, it's children too. I mean, children can consume CBD without the psychoactive THC and still receive an amazing amount of benefits from this drug. And you can see, some magical health increases for people under 18 who would normally not be allowed to consume these sort of things. When, health-wise, they should be able to. It is an herb, and if it is used properly, it's magical. I mean, it is. It's like a superfood. I don't know why it hasn't been claimed as a superfood, but I actually think it's a superfood. Yeah, I put it in my shakes every day, and I love it. I feel like it makes me smarter sometimes. But that's my opinion. I just think that it should be legalized. I do enjoy consuming it in different ways. There is smoking, there's vaporizing, there's dabbing, there's edibles, there's topicals. There's so many different ways of using the plant in itself, and it shouldn't be misconceived as strictly smoking weed like a lot of people view it as, because it's not like that.
Yeah, and a large problem is that the government is definitely going around and saying all these statistics about how the Canadian youth are some of the highest amounts in the world of people who smoke marijuana. And in actuality, that is not the fact. I think the last thing I read was it's like currently at like 17% of youth dabble with marijuana. And that is decreasing slowly. So the reality is, this isn't something that yes, we have to worry about children getting their hands on it. But
On the wrong types of it.
yes, absolutely. But the reality is, it's many adults who are looking for this. Being able to just have storefronts where you need to have an ID to get in to be able to purchase it 19 and older. Absolutely. Love that idea. But
For specific types of products. But like
mhm,
for kids and stuff that still need their CBD
yeah, and that's why they would have to get it prescribed through their doctors,
prescription,
right?
exactly.
And absolutely. But why should it be so difficult for adults who just want to be able to do it recreationally to get it? I was reading that they're going to have 40 stores up and running for when this law passes
In
and takes
Ontario.
effect in Ontario. Well, 40 to cover the entire province, that really doesn't seem like enough. Like 40 in Toronto would be great.
Yeah, like imagine 40 LCBOs in Ontario.
Yeah, like that's just not enough. And I get
No.
it, sure, you're going to deliver. Well, how long is it going to take? Like, you have so many businesses already in place offering this service. Allow them to follow the regulations.
Don't
Allow
cut them
them.
out.
Yeah, don't cut them out.
They've already done their fair share of work
Mm-hmm.
and
And research into the topic.
research into the topic, and a lot of these people are actually super passionate about what they're doing. It's just a matter of,
Mhm.
meeting regulations like any other business.
Yeah, and they honestly know more about the product because it is something that they've used, something that they have studied.
Themselves,
Yes,
exactly. You're not going to a doctor and they're prescribing something that they've never taken themselves.
exactly. So
These
they
people are
have
consuming.
first-hand experience with
Yeah,
it.
and they're okay.
Hi, my name is Kayla Richardson, and I'm doing an opinion video on marijuana. So to put it bluntly, I believe that marijuana is a great substance and should be substituted for most over-the-counter prescriptions and drugs that are prescribed by a doctor. The medical benefits far outweigh any sort of stigma that is attached to it, as marijuana is not easily abused. It doesn't have any addictive properties, and you can't overdose on it. And some of the other stuff that is being prescribed and that is out there are all of those things. They're addictive, they're easily abused, and you can easily overdose on them. And I believe that because marijuana has so many, benefits, I believe that it should be replacing things like Vicodin and oxycodone, and I mean, that's just from a physical view. I mean, it can help people with emotional disorders like OCD or anxiety. It's just a widely versatile substance, and I believe that it's going to do, and it has done, really great things for people.
Good thing medically for a lot of reasons. I have had cancer in the past, cervical cancer and ovarian cancer. I've had major surgery, hysterectomy. I was diagnosed with Crohn's. It's an autoimmune disease, inflammatory bowel disease. I've had surgery on that. I've had part of my bowel removed. There's many medications they give me. Hydromorphone or Dilaudid is a big pain reliever for me. But I was feeling that all the pain meds and all the other meds that I take was just, why do I need to take so much? This is kind of a shot of what I take daily. Let me just show you here. I take all of these meds. This is what I take. just regular on a daily basis. And then there's more that I take for pain, that I take for other things. I have whittled everything down to what you just saw. And when the pain gets bad, instead of taking an opiate, I take a couple of hits off my pipe, and it makes me feel much better. I don't feel the sluggishness that I get from the Dilaudid, from the opiates. I don't feel any of that stuff. I have no bad side effects. It interacts with every other drug that I take, that I have to take to keep me going, and I have no problems with it whatsoever. It's a plant. You plant a seed, you let it grow, and it has its medicinal purposes. I suffer from depression. When things get really bad, I take a hit off my pipe, and everything is. It sounds funny to say everything is good, but everything is good without having to take the heavy drugs and the feeling like I have a cloud over me all the time. It's on prescription. I don't get it from. I get it from a trusted source. I make sure that everything is on the up and up when I take it. And why wouldn't you go natural if you can? It just makes sense. Just makes sense.